The cuckoo chirped 3 times before retreating into its gear-crowded home. "Looks like it's fixed, Snap," I called up to the little mechanic inside the clock. A small door opened in the side, and a fairy stepped out onto the model balcony, leaning on an Allen wrench like a cane. She looked down at me and smiled. "You know, it wouldn't hurt to get this old thing replaced." Snapdragon was a hard-working fairy, and she was good with her hands when it came to modern contraptions like this clock. Good thing her home was nearby, or else I'd have to actually head to town and shell out a few silvers to get it fixed. The kingdom had decided to import devices such as this from neighboring countries, and nearly everyone with enough gold had at least one. Personally, if it weren't for peer pressure, I'd stick to sundials and hourglasses. Much less maintenance work than that clunky thing. "It'd hurt my money pouch," I chuckled. "Besides, I didn't really want this newfangled gadget." Snapdragon fluttered down to the table behind me and sat down next to a shot glass. I waved a finger, and a bottle of whisky that stood on the counter across the room leapt into the air, popped its cork, and poured a half shot into the glass. Snapdragon raised one brow at me with a smirk. I chuckled and waved the bottle into the air again to fill the glass the rest of the way. She took the glass in both hands and took a large gulp. "You know, Vincent, a lot of people don't take too kindly to you. Can't understand why. You're a swell fellow." "It's because I'm a wizard, a practitioner of the dark arts," I said, stepping over to take a seat at the table. "Magic is hard for most people to understand, and you know how humans are with things they don't understand." "I know. I've read about the witch hunts." She took another gulp. "I can't believe anyone would do that just out of fear. It's not just fear. It's an intrusion of their ideal normalcy." I snapped my fingers, and a small chunk of ice formed in Snapdragon's glass. "That's what humans consider evil, anything abnormal. Like you and the clock over there?" She tilted her head toward the wall. I let out one light-hearted laugh. "That's different. I'm not afraid of change. As a matter of fact, I welcome it with an open door. I just don't think it's worth the hassle of all of those delicate moving parts." I waved to one side, and a glass flew into my hand from the cupboard. I grasped the whiskey bottle and poured myself a drink. And everyone knows it's normal somewhere else, so there's no reason to be afraid. Snapdragon took another big gulp of her drink. At this rate, I'd have to carry her back to her house. Fairies don't have a strong tolerance for alcohol, and after just this one shot, she'd not be able to fly in a straight line, if at all. "So, what's your take on this modernization stuff?" Her posture was already becoming wobbly. "Well, they say that the world is always changing, and that you should go with it or be left behind." I took a light sip from my drink. Too warm. I snapped my fingers like before. I'd rather move forward at the back of the pack. That way I keep one foot in the familiar and another with the times.